Good morning, everyone. I think we can start now, so those who are standing there can sit down. Up the taste, down the waste will be the theme of today's discussion. We will look into the food waste, the money we can save. Thank you for being with us in this very early Saturday. Is it Saturday? Saturday morning? Yeah. Also, welcome to everyone who is joining us online and following the live stream. This discussion is organized by Danish Cultural Institute in the Baltics, and that's why we'll also be doing this discussion in English. We will flow through the discussion very freely. You will be able and you can join the discussion at any moment. If you have a question to one of the speakers, you can raise your hand. And also speakers will be able to will be free to interact with each other freely during the discussion. This discussion is also part of one of the previous longer projects, which is Zero Waste, Great Taste, Zero Waste. Great Taste, Zero Waste Manifesto. And it actually was launched in 2020 and brought together professionals from the food industry. I think Inga also joined the project at some stage. And the website that caters this project offers tips and tricks for the food industry to save food waste. And this discussion is the final discussion in this project, which is bringing us together. But we'll be looking today, actually, not so much into just restaurant food waste, but food waste in general. So let's get started. So today with us, we have a panel of knowledgeable experts. And the field of food waste is actually so small that if we would stay here after the discussion, we could be able to solve the problem of the food waste in Latvia. These are the main actors in the field. So, today with us we have Marta Muizniece, anthropologist from Jaunrades Laboratory. And Marta is working with that, but she will tell her about her work later in more detail. Then we have Zanda Shadre, representative from Rimi, the food, main retailer. Elvis Shalayevs, who is a creator of a new app called Porcija. So it's an app that is trying to tackle food waste. He'll tell more about that later. Inga Belusa from Zaļā Brīvība, enthusiast, environmental activist focusing on food waste, on education as well. Yeah, so she'll tell more as well. And Nils Devele, very honored to have you with us today. You are a Michelin-starred chef. Oh my goodness. So Nils will actually be feeding us later today. So stay tuned. If you stay until the end, you will be able to taste Michelin-starred food. So now that we can start, can you all tell us a little bit more? What is your link with the food waste? Maybe we can start from you, Marta, and then finish with Nils and let him start to do the magic.
Okay. I don't need to press anything. My link with food waste is research. I work at Jaunrades Laboratory, as you mentioned, and together with researchers from from RSU, Rīgas Tradiņu Universitāte, we are currently doing a research study on food waste in all the sectors of food supply chain, including household level.
And that's for Latvia, right?
That's in Latvia, yes.
Excellent. Okay, fantastic. We will dive into that because this is historic. Zanda.
Good morning. As Maya already mentioned, I represent Rimi, one of the largest food retailers here in the Baltics, serving around 2 million 2 million customers here in the Baltics with their daily meals. And I like to call and kind of label the topic that we're discussing here not as food waste, but food saving.
Yay, well done. This is a new term.
Hi there. As you heard, my name is Elvis, and I'm co-founder at Portia. And as long as I can remember, I have always been passionate about sustainability, sustainable practices. So for the past year, me and my co-founder Thomas have been developing Portia app. So we connect food businesses with consumers. So they can sell their surplus food, and customers can buy it for a reduced price. So yeah.
Hello, my name is Inga, and I come from NGO, environmental NGO Green Liberty. Probably you have heard of that, because we are one of the senior environmental organizations in Latvia who has started their path in previous century. So my activity in the organization is connected to awareness raising of society about environmental impacts of food waste and about climate impacts of food waste as well. So what we are doing research. So here I look at Marta, and maybe we can find some more activities to do together. Also, we do some things of activities to bring different stakeholders together and speak about food waste issues, and not only about those.
Hi, I'm executive chef in a restaurant called Pharma. As well, I work in a private school called Restaurant Service School. I'm directly linked to the food, so my duty is to reduce food waste and become more creative with it. And yeah, lately I've been pretty fanatic about it, so we're going to show you later then.
Okay, fantastic. And my name is Maya, and I'm from the organization called Zero Waste Latvia. We're working with waste in general, but of course also with food waste. And I have one shocking number to show to you. Now that we dive in, why this is such a big topic is that in the world, 1/3 of all the food produced, 1/3 of all the food produced is basically wasted. 1/3. In Europe, we're doing a little bit better. In Europe, the number is roughly 1/5 of all the food produced is wasted. 1/5. Now, what about us? What about Baltics? What about Latvia? Do we have data?
I guess,
Marta.
I guess, yes, you're looking at me. Yeah, there are some problems with data. It's not great. We don't have that much data. Well, the study that we are doing currently, we hope that it's going to help that. We are going to have some data, but it is ongoing. I don't really want to speak that much about sectors like primary production or retail, because it's really ongoing. We still don't have the final results. But when it comes to households, we do have some initial findings, and it's not great. If you want,
I want to hear.
Yes,
what's not great?
So I'm just going to quickly explain how exactly we got this data, so everyone is on the same page. So we asked 25 households all across Latvia to fill in a food diary for a week. They had to list everything that they threw out, every single item, why they threw it out, and how this food waste would be utilized in the end. And we have so far data from 25 households, and in autumn we will collect data from the remaining 25. So altogether 50 households, different sizes, different income groups, different housing types. So quite a varied sample. And the findings show us that the average food waste per week, per household, is 6 kilos, roughly.
Per week?
Yes, but I would like to point out that according to the EU definition that we have to follow of definition of food waste, these 6 kilos also include these so-called cooking byproducts. So the things that you throw out when you cook, like onion skins, potato peels, and so on. So it's not all that bad, but of course it's not looking great.
Okay. A quick question to you all. Do you throw out food? Yes? Oh my goodness! Well, this is a new level.
Actually, add we have research on the top 2 reasons why people throw out food.
Oh my goodness! Okay, so tell us why we are throwing.
Obviously, no-brainer. The first reason is it just gets rotten or spoiled or molded. Mm-hmm. But the second one, which is much more worrying, is that people tend to store food in not a correct way, make deposits of food that just goes bad because you forgot about it, and actually forgetting about that, oh, I bought this product, it's somewhere at the very back of my fridge on what to do, need to throw it out because I forgot to use it.
Are you saying that we're buying too much food?
I can actually share some data we have from one of the recent customer research. We are actually throwing away less food than a year or 2 ago. Why? Because people really, really look into ways how to save money, and with saving money, they also plan their meals in a better way, tend maybe to be more aware what they bought, where the money went. So actually our research shows that 4 out of 10 people are throwing food away in less amount than a year ago. Okay,
so money as an incentive.
Can I just quickly ask? This was self-reported data, so people said that in comparison to, let's say, last year, they threw out less food. Okay.
So what happened in the last year? What happened in the last year is that certain things went up, and then you had to save money, and you had to be more careful in how you probably shop and how you save money. So maybe we should buy less. Maybe we should buy less, or maybe the food should be more expensive. But a quick question again. So in Europe, what is the estimate? Do you know? Let's give it a thought. So, I mean, Marta already spilled the beans a bit, but that's included the peels. How much edible food is wasted annually in Europe per person in a year? So who says A? You say 30 kilos? Okay. Who sells more? B, 50 kilos? Good players. Okay, 70 kilos? Who says everyone else? Well, bingo, of course it's 70 kilos. The shocking amount of 70 kilos is thrown out, unfortunately, by households. The problem with data in Latvia usually was that when we would ask people in the audiences, do you throw out food? They would say, no. I mean, the food bills, yes, but not food. And I was one of them, like saying, there's no way I'm throwing out food. Good food, right? And we suggested to people to do this jar experiment. So we all have these coin jars at home, right? And so you put the coin jar in the fridge, and when you throw out food, you just put the coins in the other jar. And when you start to think and see how much, even a little food you throw out, it's really shocking and adds up to that. So Nils will be actually showing us later how to be creative around the food scraps and how actually save money through being gastronomically creative. So that is crucial to find solutions, and it's fantastic to hear that Marta and Raunrens Laboratory has finally started to gather data for Latvia. We'll be able to see finally how much exactly we're wasting and why, because it is slightly problematic that the only institution who had data was Rimi. For long, we were referring to data saying, data by Rimi. This is not Really?
No, but I think it really makes sense. I mean, that makes us a socially responsible company, that we don't not only make profit and sales and everything that the business is mainly doing, but it is our big responsibility to also
And we appreciate
help
that.
the customer. But I just wanted to share a little bit on what we are very, very clearly controlling, and that is the food saving and food waste in our operations. So what we can account for in let's say the ready-made food, or what is left over when the shop doors close. And there I want to share interesting data that actually the amount of shrink, that's how we call food waste, is just 1.5% of the total sales in kilograms. So 1.5%, it's very, very small. So from this amount of food that is wasted, that you mentioned, 1/3 in the world, 1/5 in Europe, actually majority, or 57%, happens at the household.
Exactly.
And that's why, of course, we're talking about it, but we here as a food retailer, we're in this together. Yeah.
Absolutely. And there are certain things that I think you as a retailer can do also to help us to waste less. But I think Inga had something to add on the data.
Yes, I would like to add that it is absolutely great that we are very fond of our own researches and data gatherings and statistical things that we have attained from what we have seen and what we have done. Here we should take into consideration that there are several national level researches as well. And this year we already are in the phase of one more next step of national level research in Latvia, and European Commission now is helping us a lot actually to find ourselves under the umbrella of food waste data. And according to their methodology, we in all the European Union countries, we are gathering data about food waste in all life cycle of food, in all sectors. And we are trying to get information how we are doing in our countries and how those data are different. And I'm very sorry that we cannot share data about Latvia currently, because this is the process and we do not have it yet. But it is great discussion that actually could end or could proceed in the direction that we should come together with our own organizational data and think about how they fit under this level of national data.
Yes, maybe there's good news. Maybe we're not wasting food. Maybe we're better than others. Let's stay tuned for these outcomes. We're very thrilled that we'll finally have national data on this. But now that we have the field, what about the solutions? What can we do? And maybe to zoom out a little bit, Inga is the expert who has been working for long on food waste. What are the systemic, bigger picture solutions that we would need before we dive into more practical things?
Yes. Firstly, I would like to say that we can do a lot in food waste reduction in our households. And of course, but here from systemic approach, we should do better. And I think that the huge burden is on us, and it is communicated in society that people at our kitchens should do more. I think that I agree with that, but I agree also that we should approach food waste from systemic side. And what do I mean that we should think about systemic solutions? First of all, we should think about the idea that our economy is not based on linear thinking. First of all, we should speak more about circularity, and the same we should speak more about circularity of food, that it is resources actually, not waste. And we should probably rebrand the keyword of food waste to food resources that should be needed to others, like my colleagues here told already. Then we should think about consistent and integrated policy that help us in our kitchens to do better with our food waste. Of course, we should divide our personal interests in doing bigger or smaller decisions in our political level. It means that our wallet and our heart should not be so personal, but we should think about planet in whole. Then I would like to say that economic support for us is very important as well. In all what we do, that food waste reduction activities should be appreciated more from this support. Also, education. And with education, I mean not only that we know the facts about data, but we know the knowledge of ecological footprint from food waste. Also, we should do better in skills in our household. And then attitude level is very important as well. And when we speak about skills, here I want to highlight several groups of skills. First of all, it is how we shop and how we plan meals. It is very interesting art, how to do that. Then how we store things in our cupboards. It is very interesting because, and very meaningful, because with all the new packages that we bring from our shops, we put them in the front. And those that have been started, we somehow squeeze them backwards. We should do reverse thing with this, and we should go and proceed. Then we should look about how we freeze food. Because sometimes when we open our refrigerator, and especially the freezer, we see that there are several NLOs and recognized icy products that we really do not know what are in those packages. And of course, there should be an art of how to use what we have left from all these things that we cook, so how to use leftovers. And I think that we will have a beautiful presentation today about that.
A quick question, though. What do you do with the food that is about to go bad? If you see something rotting in your fridge or sitting in your fridge or in your cupboard very long. Oh, and there's a spelling error in the neighbor. But so what do you do with the food? You freeze it, you give it to your neighbor, or you hope that you will, what's A, B, or C? C, you say C, fingers crossed. Who says A? Who freezes food? Bravo, well done. Who gives it to the neighbor? No one. And I mean, here's a potential to explore. Do you give to your neighbor?
So I have the answer B, I give to my animals so far, basically.
Bravo, okay, that's another one. Well, it's both basically your neighbor. Funny thing.
It's food to my food.
Well, all answers, of course, are valid. One thing that we're not doing, I think, absolutely, as we can see here in this room, we're not giving anything to our neighbors because you're giving. Bravo, well done. When you're going to travel, you clean your cupboards and fridges, you give it to your neighbor. So giving to your neighbor would be a fantastic thing, but I think as a society we need still to evolve a bit or change a little bit, become more southern, then we can do it. But so here you have a couple of solutions. Thank you for your participation. But so if we get back to the solutions, we have all sorts of solutions: cooking, artificial intelligence, maybe apps. So solutions, what do we have on the table? What can you suggest?
On a corporate level, we actually donated 120 trucks of food to Latvian Food Bank last year. So that's our solution to the consequence, and shrink and the leftover of food it's a consequence. It's like a systemic problem, actually, and we're solving it by two activities. First one, this one, yes, the orange stickers. We call them markdown products, and actually they've become very, very popular. If 2-3 years ago it was a little bit looked down upon if you were searching for the discounted food, but now we see many kind of different people looking at this product.
Okay.
And second, donations.
Okay, let's now freeze on this. two things. Afterwards, I will want to hear from Portia. But so, something shocking. I recently spoke to someone who said that for almost 5 years, that person lived on waste they found in Rimi garbage bins. And then, one day, the food was gone from the waste bin because Rimi had started to massively manage their food. I think that is the consequence of the orange labels.
I
Yes?
think that couldn't be correct. We don't throw away food. We use it as a resource. Third category products are being used for biogas creation. And everything that we can't donate to people, we use for other
purposes.
So it is really a resource.
Do you think you could do better with an app like Portia? So what's on table, Portia? What is your magic?
So our goal is to make one hub for all businesses to put their reduced food, surplus food that is left at the end of the day, or expiry date is coming up, so they could sell it on our app, and consumers could buy it at reduced price. So also we want to work as a safety net for company ideas, recipes, products, so they don't have to worry about what to do if something doesn't work out as they planned, or they have leftover food after some ideas. And one thing that we are doing very actively, we are trying to inform consumers about the food waste, because that's the last stage in the process. It's also the labor, energy, transportation, everything is being wasted, and basically it's money. So for companies, we are trying to save them money, save food at the end of the day, and give good food to consumers. Yeah, basically, that's our solution that we can offer.
Okay. A quick question. Have you used the food waste reduction app? Ever? Any kind of? You have. Can you shout out what's the name of it?
I don't remember the name of it, but I think it's not really working now for
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
for stock
Yes,
months.
yes.
And caffeine, I know that they put their products in, and you could drive by and take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
can check
there
out-
there was a app like this.
If you have Rimi app, I hope you have. Does anybody have a Rimi application?
I know that you can check the products in the stores where the dates will end. Yeah.
Yes, you can check out your nearest Rimi store and plan your meal. If you have no idea what to cook, you can just check out the markdown products.
Okay. So we have one person who has used here the one app that existed before. And actually, the funny thing is that in the world, there are many apps for food waste reduction, but somehow they never made it to Latvia. And so now we have Portia. Good luck, Portia.
Thank you.
We hope you will help in this tremendous job, or maybe Marta will do, or Inga will do the research and we'll find out that there's actually no food to waste. Maybe we're not wasting any kind of food, but we have apps available, and there'll be more apps coming. And there's also artificial intelligence. Is there? Rimi, are you using any kind of tools to plan how you procure, how you save food? Could artificial intelligence help you?
Of course, in our operations, we plan our supply of goods on the shelves only using modern technologies. It's not done by Excel, it's done by sophisticated algorithms. Of course, any business is already working in that level. But we actually offered our customers a tool how they can come up with ideas what to do with the leftovers. It was called Empty Your Fridge. It was a widget that actually 100,000 customers in the Baltics used during the course of its piloting. But now we see actually that there's a big competitor for this kind of apps, and it's ChatGPT. You can always punch in everything that's in your fridge, and you don't know what to do with it, and it's going to give you nice ideas.
Yes, but it has a tremendous carbon footprint, that chat magic. Inga, you have something to add, and I'll have a question to Nils as well.
Yes, indeed. I would like to add that the word research is not only for people who work at the institute. Research actually could be done by ourselves, especially in food waste sector, because, well, it is not only interesting, but it is very meaningful for all of us to measure the appetite of our food waste bin. And there are several different interesting methodological solutions to that, several handouts, several advices, how to measure and how to write down and how just to get to know what is in your food waste bin. Because in Latvia we are sorting food waste since this beginning of this year, all of us. It is mandatory for all of us. And of course, to know what is... And of course, to know what is the type of food, what exactly is more in your waste bin, it cannot be done by researchers outside of your kitchen. It could be done by ourselves.
Okay. Another quick question. Do you sort bio-waste at home? Yes, no? Raise your hand who is sorting bio-waste. Good. Good. Thank you. There's still margin for improvement. But that's not the topic of our discussion today. But please do sort bio-waste. Niels, what about restaurants? What do you do? How do you try to save leftovers? What's left? Do you use artificial intelligence or human intelligence, creativity?
So I like to go old school, and I go like friendly with my bin. So first of all, you should see what goes into your bin and sort it out. And when you see it, you have you can reduce it easily because it's just getting more or getting less. First thing is to think about the things we used to do, like to get food on our shelves for longer. One of the things are fermenting, dehydrating, and other things that can prove our food for a longer time, things like that. And of course, if it's edible, you should think what you can do with it anyways. People are afraid of just a little bit of mold or something that goes away. And I think we are too used to perfect things, but sometimes imperfect is also good.
Thank you. I mean, mold is totally okay. You know, if you go to France, all the cheeses have mold on them, yeah? Do you use, or Farma is using any kind of tools to plan procurement, to plan?
So first of all, I do the straight work with producers. So at that moment when I plan the menu, I try to use food and use items that I can use in like many different ways. Okay. If like I use like a flour, I can use the stalk for the other thing or the seeds for another thing. So I try to manage the food item differently and in different ways, so it makes it more interesting.
But no technological magic, it's in your brain.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, that's excellent footprint as well. Good. What else, as in terms of solutions, can we think of that we haven't mentioned?
I think I have something. I agreed with what Inga said about systematic changes, and I think it's it's something that is repeated almost in every discussion in LAMPA, that we need to have systematic changes. We all love to say that, and it's true, and I agree with that. But I think very often we only say that we need systematic changes, but we don't actually provide any examples because it's difficult. One very, very, very simple example I can think of are community fridges. It's not a unique solution. They have become quite popular in Scandinavia, in Germany, in other countries. I have, well, I don't know if you can call it witnessed a community fridge, but when I did my master's in Copenhagen back in 2016-18, there were a lot of those community fridges. I visited one of them, and it was very, very popular because it was widely accessible and available. Everyone could collect the food and leave the food any time of the day. There were volunteers involved who made sure that the fridge was clean. So I think a community fridge is a very good idea. Not one, but like several of them all throughout the city, similar how it is with deposit points. But I think they need to be aesthetically pleasing for the person. They have to be clean, well, relatively clean. There's no smell, and they're readily available. Of course, it sounds very, very easy when I say that. It's much more difficult in practice. But if we can donate old clothes easily, like now we have charity shops and we have these textile containers, then ideally you could do the same, or you should at least try to do the same with food. If you can donate old t-shirts you don't want to wear anymore, and you don't have to think hard how and where I'm going to do that, we should try to do the same thing with leftover food. Of course, it is a bit more difficult.
Yeah, and here I will actually jump on your systemic change and need for systemic change. Have you seen here present the food fridges or leftover food fridges? Who has seen a fridge? Okay. Who has seen a food fridge in Latvia? Okay. Well, that sounds about right. There are a couple of food fridges here in Latvia. There was one also in Riga, and I think gradually it unfortunately disappeared. The problem was food fridges or food community fridges in Latvia is that the legislation is extremely strict. It is extremely strict. And the systemic change that we would probably need to somehow make happen is that we need to loosen this legislation. The risk is that someone will get poisoned. But I think we need at some point to take the responsibility for our own actions. If I go to the fridge and I take something from the fridge, it's my responsibility. And currently, I think the rules are by far too strict and actually an obstacle to creating such fridges. What about, Mart, I think you also participated in disco soups. Is that correct? No?
Not here.
Community soup?
Not here in Latvia.
Not here in Latvia?
Well, I didn't really... No.
Do you know what is a disco soup?
Yes.
Inga knows, well. So disco soup is when a community, typically let's say, could be a marketplace or market, creates a soup together to raise awareness about food leftovers. And it's a great activity. It happens in many countries. And again, somehow we have had, I think, maybe one community soup in Agenskalna Tirgus, and then it disappeared.
And actually, it was here in LAMPA.
LAMPA as well.
In our Green Liberties stage. So we organized disco soup, and it was very, very popular. I think that in Latvia, it was Green Liberty who brought this. And I think that so far we have organized more than 5 disco soups.
I think a better
Riga
name
and outside.
A better name for that would be cirvjekāta zupa, if you know what I mean.
Very nice, very nice. You're in charge of creating new terms and new marketing tools for the awareness raising. In terms of solutions, anything else that comes into your mind?
For me, I know that there is, this app Olio. In
Oh,
Latvia.
yeah. Absolutely.
Yesterday I checked, there is one listing only, so not many people know about it. But it's basically you can exchange food and give away food if you have with your neighbors and surrounding people. It's pretty popular in outside of Latvia, in Berlin. Also, the caterers after some events put the leftover food in there, and people can sign up to take it. And it would be very nice. Imagine if your grandma gives you apples, 2 boxes, and some potatoes. You don't know what to do with it. You can give it away to your neighbors in exchange for something. So that is a pretty interesting app that I don't think many people in Latvia knows about.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for listening. Yeah.
2 more highlights.
Yeah.
One of them is that we will see here. That could be called actually food leftover lab, or let's ask the author to name it. And one more thing is that we haven't touched here is how to make compost, because it is not possible to use 100% of everything that is left from what we eat. And maybe several things can be composting, and skills of doing compost. It is very much in that.
I just wanted to add and make a little bridge with what you were saying about strict legislation. It needs to be strict. We don't want to have food poisoning going crazy. Imagine somebody getting food poisoned from something bought in Rimi. We would be in big, big trouble. So Pārtikas veterinārais dienests is a big friend of us. And everything related to donating food, freezing before donating, it is very, very strictly monitored with all the necessary paperwork. And for me, I think maybe community fridge can have an exception, or I don't know, separate, a bit looser legislation, but also look carefully what you freeze. If it's meat product like a stew that's been out in your kitchen table for 5 hours, don't freeze it. It's not going to be a good product. Throw it out.
Thanks for this very useful detail. So 2 questions to you, actually. As a community, as a society, we're growing older because of demographics. More people are living alone. Have you thought of making smaller packaging so that we can buy smaller portions? Yeah, is that something that is on the table, that we could buy less?
That's an interesting idea. I saw some, I think it was Gallery Centers who made a special corner in their shopping mall for people to sit down and connect, because they found out that people in Latvia tend to feel lonely more and more in the past few years. So yeah, it's definitely something to also consider, as of course we need to follow the customer trend.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of things. I think demographically we are as a society growing older, but also in Northern Europe, many people actually do live alone. We are maybe a lonelier societies, but it also reflects in the way we buy food. We need smaller portions, like 1 liter of milk. I can't care about having 1 liter of milk at all. So let's say my solution is buying very chemical milk so I can use it, because otherwise it will go to waste, and so on and so on and so on.
I think, I want to add my 2 cents. Like when it comes to milk, we already have half the liter package. So it is theoretically available, but it is, when you look at the overall price, it is more expensive. So what I have noticed, when you want to buy a smaller package of anything, because you don't want to waste food, you end up actually paying more, which makes sense. And I understand why it is the way it is, but it would be nice if it wasn't like that.
Maybe that's more prevalent in the non-food areas, but the zero-waste food assortment is going to grow. You remember, I don't know, in the Soviet times, there was the possibility to take your own jar and get the sour cream just in the amount that you need.
Okay, so this is an interesting twist. I want smaller portions, I want smaller packaging, but you're right. If you would give us more zero waste or zero packaging products, that would be even better. Then we can take just as much as we need. Yeah.
We actually have in 7 Rimi hypermarkets zero waste assortment for non-food, like chemicals, shampoo, shower gel. Unfortunately, that's not going good.
Yeah, it's
in
not
terms
going
of
to fly, but
business.
that's a different. Yeah, it's not going to fly. It's a different topic. But on the food topic, what you need to know and really be aware is that we can currently go to the supermarket with our own containers, and whatever is in the supermarket that you can buy and weight, you can use your own container. You do not need to go to a zero-waste shop. You can go to Rimi, to Maxima, to any kind of market and use your own container. That is one good thing about our services, PVD, that has allowed us to do it. Saying that in the moment that we go with our own container, the responsibility is transferred to us. It's your container, it's your responsibility. And I think that's what we would need also to do with the food fridges. Your food, your responsibility. The moment it's in your hand. We do not have much time left because we will be actually shortly switching to the fantastic food tasting part. But maybe one last question and consideration and round of discussion about raising awareness and understanding. I mean, we're discussing food for a very long time, systemic solutions that we need, tech and app, and it's a tremendous waste, tremendous footprint. But how comes that it's not in the news? You know, it should be in the evening news, you know, that we're wasting so much food, you know, to raise awareness that we need to do something, we need to do this. How comes that it's not in the news, and what we need to do to raise awareness that we're wasting so much food?
I don't really agree that people are not aware of the food waste. Maybe they're not aware of the sheer scale of the problem. I mean, most people probably don't know how much food is wasted in Europe, and that's understandable. But when we collected the data from the households, guilt as an emotion came up a lot. I had participants apologizing to me for how much food they had wasted, explaining that they will, and promising that they would definitely try to do better. Others told me that this had not been a typical week, and normally they don't throw that much food out. And during recruitment, there were several people who declined to participate, explaining that they would be embarrassed if I found out how much food they wasted. So I think, I mean, of course, not everyone is like that. Not everyone feels immense guilt and shame about throwing food out. But food waste is, like, food definitely is associated with a lot of strong emotions.
Well, I hope so, because, you know, we used to be the country or nation, you know, if you drop a piece of bread, you have to kiss it, you know, and how we manage to transition from extreme respect to food to throwing out food is a bit of a question. So, I mean, I'm not saying that guilt is a great feeling, but good to know that people are aware. Any other ideas how we can raise awareness also about apps and solutions and technology that can help us to save food?
Well, there's of course also many apps that people can use. There's like this interesting app that prolongs shelf life of foods called Shelfie, that maybe not many of you know. But they are trying to bring awareness to food waste. They're doing big, like, public events outside of Latvia. But they're this smart device that they have, it goes into the fridge and it reduces bacteria of fruits and vegetables and prolongs the shelf life and also reduces the smell. And also they are fighting the stigma of food waste that we all have had at some point. Because as we have researched, many people didn't want previously buy this reduced packages because they thought it looked bad, or they didn't want to see people that they use it. But as seen previously, it has been changing. So, yeah, that's...
Okay, excellent. One last question to the audience. Do you know how much money you throw in the bin in a year in a household? A, B, C. Who says A? Uh-huh. Well, I trust you. You might be an exception. B, 400 euros. Okay. And who throws out 700 euros? Thank you. Congratulations. So, if you have listened carefully, you might now be armed with consciousness, some tips and tricks, where to seek help. And you might save between 400 and 700 euros per household, and thus sponsor your next holidays, because this 700 is basically the amount that we're throwing out in food per household in a year. So here's your holiday money. Good. I think we have made a tour, but now we can ask some questions to our experts, and I see there's already one hand, two hands. So there's a lovely lady with a microphone.
Hi, I come from Denmark.
Hello.
And we have a fairly new state-funded organization in Denmark called the Food Bank. And they're working on a larger scale than individual households. They collect items from supermarkets and shops, store them, check them, and divide them into institutions that are interested in getting food, whatever. It's sort of preventing food waste on a larger scale. It's working perfectly.
Yes.
My husband and I work in a library. We get once a week a trolley comes up, and we can choose whatever we want. And it's according to the strict legislation in Denmark, and it's strict, I tell you. It's all in order, but it's outside the date that the supermarkets can sell the items. So if we did not have the food bank, all these items would be thrown into containers and destroyed. Just a comment.
Excellent. Thank you so much for this example. And I know that Zanda already has an interesting answer to give. But I think here an interesting point, there are two things. You said it's state-funded, and that is very important. And second is that the food bank is not something that where people in need would only go to. Actually, we're wasting so much food, by throwing out in the bin, that, well, we could just distribute it to anyone who is willing to take it, and that still would be much better than throw it out. Zana, tell about what you're doing.
Thank you for the comment. Yes, we do have food banks both in Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania, the three markets where Rimi is working in, with 300 supermarkets. And of course, it's a very close collaboration on a daily basis, where the food bank comes at the end of the day and picks up the products we can no longer sell, but we can still donate. And the food bank is making sure that these products are delivered to the end customer according to the very strict legislation. Without that, it wouldn't work, of course. But problem here is the capacity of those food banks. In Latvia, they're struggling a lot with building capacity to reach the farther regions, Latgale, some of the more faraway areas from the central cities. In Estonia, they're doing a great job. They have their own filiales in almost all the big cities. So I would say, it really depends on the country as well.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately the answer there is state funding, which is I'm not sure that that's the case for the Latvian food bank. Good. We have we really need to rush to the food part, but couple of more maybe then quick questions.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Yes.
Sorry.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello from Belgium. So I couldn't be here at the beginning of the presentation, but so I would like to clarify a number. So is it correct that 50% of the food waste comes from the households?
Yes, absolutely.
We agree
yes.
with this?
Yeah.
So I wanted to think a bit more on the systemic way. And I was wondering what was the impact of marketing into the purchase behavior of food. Because what I see, what I feel when I walk in the street and everything, I see food literally everywhere. Like if I'm a little bit hungry or anything, I just want to buy something like spontaneous purchase. I also seeing when I go in the supermarket, if I don't do strictly my list, I'm triggered everywhere to buy like more like 2 + 1 for free. Things like that. So in the end, I end up with a, 20-30% bigger cart that I expected to have. So
absolutely.
How can that be that impacting in the like preventing me to buy food that maybe I will not eat?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's also a matter of behavior, bigger behavioral and societal changes. Any inputs on this quickly?
Don't come to the supermarket hungry. That's a good tip.
Well, I don't dare to say don't go to supermarket hungry. But also the portions, I think portions matter. Here, for example, yesterday I threw out some French fries because the portion was just too big. And that's what I think the systemic changes that we really need to come to smaller portions, thinking twice, not tempting, not be hungry, and so on. Any last questions? Final call. Madara at the end.
Hi, thank you. Just a very quick question. We expect so much from our food. It's soothing, it's our diets, it's get us bigger, get us smaller, recompensation for good stuff. And although my family, we have managed to do quite good food handling in our own tiny household, I have a lot of relatives and friends. And they come over and they want to bring this abundance of food and often bring stuff that I really don't eat and won't eat. But the feeling is that the table really has to crush under the food. So how do I deal with my relatives that bring and stuff my fridge with the stuff that I won't eat? Thank you.
Oh my goodness, this is a cultural question. Any tips and tricks? Anthropology comes in.
I know it does, and this is a tricky question, because if you tell your relatives and friends no, you will probably hurt them and you will upset them. So I think we can see that food is not just something we put in our mouth to get energy. It's pretty much not the basis, but of relationships, but it's definitely a huge part of it. My recommendation, I think I would just accept the food and say thanks.
And store it properly. Yeah, I mean, I know the salad and everything.
Yeah, and one more thing could be, we like presents. So sort it back and give a small amount of food back to everyone who is there to help to reduce this impact in your household. I mean, that if people are bringing this food, they will eat them more than we. So why not to give them food as a present? Thank you.
Excellent final word. So now we can actually jump to the part we've been waiting for. Nils will do his magic master class. Thank you everyone for tuning in online and in presence here today. I think we have a couple of good leads that we hope to transform into systemic changes. And now the good part. Nils, I think you can start. So the setting will be that, you're free to join in or have a look, and I will be like a sports commentator assisting Nils in his culinary adventure. So, what's going on?
So, yesterday we made some pasta which was made from bread waste. So, all of it is made from bread waste. It's pretty easy to make it, and it's like really good product to work after drying.
How do you do it?
We dry out all the bread leftovers that I had. It wasn't human touch before. So we dried it out completely, mixed together with flour. After that, mix with some water and some egg yolk. Make some nice dough, mix it, and make some nice pasta. So we have some shells like this, looking like.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. I'm gonna explore what's cooking here. Come. I'm gonna not to be in your way.
Another thing. We had like plenty of cheese leftovers, and after drying them up, we made some stock from leftover cheese. So I'm gonna dip this inside of it and heat them up.
Okay, thanks. So what?
But first, we have some like bread crisps, which are made also from bread waste. Bread waste is a pretty big amount of waste that we had in a restaurant, so it's a pretty nice thing to work with them.
Okay.
Yeah. And as well, we made a sauce which is made from leftover things from chanterelles. Now chanterelles are in season, so we have plenty of them and like plenty leftovers because we make really nice cuts from them. So I'm gonna heat these guys up and mix together with, or I would say, paste from chanterelles.
Yoo-hoo, can't wait. Okay. How long will it take to cook?
This is gonna take 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. 3 minutes.
So both of us meet Valeria. She's my colleague, and she also likes to work with food waste. Both of us was in 2 Michelin-starred restaurants. One was Fotografiska, another one is Nola. So both of them have Green Star. So we have some knowledge and some practical knowledge about using our waste.
You definitely have a talent as well. Well done, guys. Ladies. Is it a new Nordic diet? Well, I don't know. It's a new Nordic diet, but let's make it a new Nordic diet. You know, we can define what the new Nordic diet can be. Food waste diet. So Valeria, what is in here? What's that?
Hummus.
Oh, that's hummus. Okay.
It's made from sunflower seeds. So we use not only sunflower like that. We're gonna put this on a dish like in 2 ways. And a nice thing to put with it, we made some like fermented vegetables, which was like different cuts that will not be used. So we have fermented vegetables and 2% salt. It's really easy to make, and you can store them for 2 weeks. And it's really good for the stomach. It has a lot of enzymes, and it's a living organism.
Fantastic. If you don't know how to do it, ask your grandma. Your grandma definitely knows how to do it. It looks super nice. The new Nordic diet.
Dish on adults. On some station also pasta. So we're gonna mix those both together in a few minutes. Okay. First we're gonna have hummus for tasting.
Okay, we'll start with hummus. That will be the first dish. I can come closer. I'm afraid to disturb the.
You can ask me questions.
I can ask you questions. So what's going on? What's happening there? What are you adding? It's, sunflower seeds.
Sunflower hummus, fermented vegetables. We're gonna top them with some nice fresh herbs.
It looks delicious. Oh, the sprouts.
This is one thing that we use in a restaurant. It's green oil. It's been used with leftover greens that it's not available to put on the food. So we just blend it together with the oil, and it happens to be so beautiful and green. It's a nice thing to put on a nice dish, and you'll see.
Yeah.
First course is ready, so everybody that's willing to try, please come closer, take one, and we will gonna put some more afterwards.
Oh, voila. Okay. Well, mums visiem nepietiks, ja?
Paga kua?
I'm going to start to plate red waste pasta from this side. So, Jack, come and try.
Yoo-hoo. So there's still some entrees left. I think there are people queuing, but then the pasta is coming ready too. So make way to your entree, which is still here. Don't be shy. Or maybe you ladies, have you had your entree? Maybe she does what I'm named. Gandri. Oh, we have to wait. Pardon. Sorry. Vai sort of poly. So, madame, how was the entree, an interview?
Yeah, it was amazing, really. The hummus, like, really nice combination. Yeah.
5 stars?
Yeah, definitely.
So more entrees here and pasta on the other side. Pasta coming.
Yes, maybe you want to try?
I will try later. I think there are more candidates for pasta here. Entrees here. I'll go for entree. Andra, how was your entree?
Very tasty. But I think I will need to ask Niels about the details. I didn't get how he made all these things like hummus. Maybe we can ask him later to present.
Okay, so Niels, how did you make the hummus? What's in the hummus?
So it's cooked sunflower seeds. We blend it together with some oil, with some lemon juice, little bit of salt, and little bit of tahini. So we blend them like really nice, so it has a really good texture. So after that, we made fermented vegetables. I already told about it, but it's just food scraps from the vegetables, which been cut up, put in a jar together with 2% salt. In 2 weeks, we have a nice tasting fermented vegetables.
Thank you for the reminder. Okay, let's continue with the pasta. Lovely.
So I tell about pasta. It's dried up bread, which been blended really nice.
Yeah.
After that, we mix with some flour, with some water, make nice dough, and after that we just make like gnocchi type of forms. Yeah, it's all handmade.
Can we make it at home?
Yes, for sure.
Can we find a recipe somewhere?
Yeah, I will tell you now.
Oh, yeah, right.
Easy. It's actually so easy that you don't need to have like some. It's just 1/2 of bread waste, 1/2 of a flour and water, just so it mixes up nicely in a nice dough, which you can form in any type you want.
That's what all chefs say. It's super easy. Just do it. It's super easy. Okay, we'll try. Thank you. Oh my goodness, there's a dessert coming. Aye. So what's in the dessert?
So this is like a honey cake truffle, which been made from like the leftovers that we have from making regular honey cake. So this is like you know, the Latvian type of a dessert, which is called potato, but it's a nice way to, if a guest doesn't want like full dessert, I can give them just a nice taste from Latvia.
Oh my goodness, this must be a bomb. A honey bomb. Honey bomb. Go for honey bombs. Go, go. Dear everyone, we still have dessert here available. The honey bombs. Honey bomb dessert. Honey bomb dessert, right?
Honey truffle.
Honey truffle bomb dessert.
Okay.
Honey truffle bomb dessert. Honey truffle bomb. Yay! And the dessert is gone. Voila, that's solved. So thank you everyone for joining this event, joining this discussion. Thanks Danish Institute for hosting this valuable discussion. We are gradually starting to say goodbye to the people following us online. Sadly, you cannot taste the fantastic food available here. But thanks for tuning in and follow us on different channels, should it be Danish Cultural Institute, Zero Waste, Green Liberty, or other organizations working with the food waste. Thank you.